Welcome back to Swangard Stadium in Burnaby. A warm BC welcome to the boys in the booth tonight. Nigel Reid and a gentleman who is no stranger to this part of the world, Jason DeVos. Guys?
Thank you, Steve, and a very good evening. It's nice to be here. Well, it's not exactly do or die as far as the Vancouver Whitecaps are concerned this evening, but having lost that opening game in Montreal last week, you feel that they must make best use of home advantage here tonight, or it could be curtains.
It could be. It's a very important game for both these teams. A Montreal victory puts them on 6 points with one difficult away trip to Toronto left in the competition. But a victory for Vancouver gets them right back in it again and puts the pressure back on the other two teams in the competition.
It could be argued, as far as the competition is concerned, that a Vancouver win tonight would be the best to keep the interest going. The lineups, the Whitecaps make 3 changes from the team held by Miami at the weekend. Jeff Clark fit to return in central defence. Taka Hirano preferred to Tony Donatelli on the left side of midfield. And up front, Nicholas Adlery gets the nod ahead of Jason Jordan. The Whitecaps will line up in a 4-4-2 formation. What are the visitors? Well, the Montreal Impact also make 3 changes for tonight's game. After Sunday's win over Carolina, Adam Browse returns after suspension at right back. Nevio Pizzolito in at centre-back, replacing the injured Cedric Jacques-Viel, and David Testo comes into central midfield, replacing Pato Aguilera. Again, a 4-4-2 formation for the Impact here at Swangard Stadium. Weather, it is a beautiful early summer's evening here in Burnaby, BC. Around 19 degrees at kick-off time. There's your referee, Dominic Scarley, 30-year-old official from Toronto with a smile on his face, and why not? It is an absolutely picture-perfect evening here. And it will be the Vancouver Whitecaps in all white with that broad blue band across their chest, who will get us underway, kicking from left to right in this first half. Early touch for Martin Nash. Just dappled sunlight across the stadium as the sun sets below the main stand. Swangard Stadium, by the way, is set right in the middle of picturesque Central Park here in Burnaby. Jason, who knows these parts much better than I, tells me it's about a 25-minute drive to downtown, but that's on a good day.
That's on a good day. You don't want to be fighting rush hour traffic in Vancouver.
So we've set the scene for you. Montreal winners of last week's opening game in this home-and-home set, winning it by 2-0, having themselves lost the opening game of the Neutralite Canadian Championship at home to Toronto FC by a single goal. So Montreal, playing on all black this evening, have lost 1 and won 1.
Chris Pozniak on the receiving end of a crunching tackle earlier on in the game. You always want to make yourself known as a defender early on, stamp your authority on the game, so to speak.
Chris Pozniak playing, that's an early offside against Eddie Cibrano. Chris Pozniak, we understand, playing his final game for the Whitecaps here this evening before heading off back to Europe for perhaps pastures new.
Yeah, Chris is a player that I've always liked. I've played alongside him in the Canadian national team program in the past, and he fancies his chances back in Europe again, and I can see why. You know, he's a player I think needs to be playing at that level over there.
Well, now, keys to the game, as we've alluded to, Vancouver really need to take this game by the scruff of their neck.
They do. You know, the cup form is a reflection of the fact that their league form has been so good, and they were unlucky not to get a result up in Montreal in the first game of this tournament for them. And it is really a must-win situation for them. Another loss here today puts them in a very difficult position, with the strong favorites, Toronto, obviously to come in home and away. Montreal, they've gone a different direction with the coaching staff. They brought in John Limniadis, another player that I played with in my time in Montreal, and they've seen the benefits of that, going on a 3-game winning streak and not conceding any goals. And history repeating, they have a very good record against Montreal over the years.
No offside flag there. Morano with the ball across. Only half away. It's quite remarkable, the history between these two teams and the dominance of one over the other in recent seasons.
Well, Montreal have a very good record against Vancouver. Certainly going back to my time as a player in Montreal back in the mid-90s. I think since then they've been it's one-way traffic in terms of Montreal's favor, I think.
Steve Kindle trying to get in there. For Pachantino, and all the way back to Montreal goalkeeper Matt Jordan. We had a chance to get a quick word with both coaches before kick-off. As far as Taylor Dorderson is concerned, the Vancouver coach, he knows that his team has got to really press forward here. And it could be argued that in that opening game last week, although they lost it by 2-0, they were somewhat unfortunate, or perhaps Montreal were flattered by the scoreline.
Well, you know, Montreal were having a difficult time scoring goals, and the first one was down to luck more than anything. It bounced in off Severino Jefferson's knee, and sometimes that's all you need to sort of break the watershed and get those goals flowing again. And Taylor Dorderson told us, obviously, before the game that they created numerous chances and were unable to capitalize on any of them, so they felt a little bit hard done by to come away with a 2-0 loss.
Jordan with the long clearance, looking for Roberto Brown, playing up front alongside Severino Jefferson, who's upended. That will be a free kick in a position of some danger. Lyle Martin, the offender.
Just a physical contest, and Martin drags him back a little bit. It's a dangerous opportunity early on in the game for Montreal to try and capitalize.
Well, there's several candidates for this. Roberto Brown might be one of them. Jefferson is there as well, as is Pachantino. Maybe Brown to bend it round the wall. It is Roberto Brown straight into the wall, gets a second chance, blocked for a second time. Pachantino gives chase. Gets the ball across, flicked away. It'll fall to Leduc. Pat Leduc, the Montreal captain. Once again, Leduc trying to keep the move going. It's rather into no man's land. And Martin sees it beyond the dead ball line for a goal kick. And beyond that dead ball line, well, what else? We are in Western Canada. There's a barbecue. Behind Jay Nolly's goal. I'm not sure I could concentrate on the game if I could smell the barbie going, could you?
It would be difficult for the goalkeeper, certainly.
There he is, Jay Nolly, battling for that #1 spot this season with Serge Djukanovic, who Toronto FC fans will remember from his time at BMO Field last season. They've played about half and half in terms of games. Jeff Clark with the header. Finds Martin. Ball ahead. Sabrango was the target. Justin Moose with the throw. Didn't get as far as Sabrango that time. Martin will let it run all the way through for a throw. Well, there can't be many picturesque stadiums in the world than the one we're in right now. I'm sure we'll show you some scenic shots as the evening progresses. Huge Douglas fir trees away on the far side of the stadium. And the mountains of the North Shore away to our left side. Pizzolito with the ball forward. Nash trying to keep things going. Up to that left-hand side to Morano. Didn't find him. But the idea was right. Now, Montreal on the break. Momentarily it's 3-on-3. Possibilities here. Placentino with the ball across. And deflected away for a corner. So the impact quickly on the break there.
Well, it's a wasted opportunity, really. I think Placentino should have clipped that ball to the back post. Di Lorenzo made a good run, made up a lot of distance to try and get himself in the box in a scoring position. It's a poor cross from Placentino. Well,
he has another opportunity now from the resulting corner. Left-footed, floated in. Jay Nolly was comfortable. Pulls it out to Martin. He's got Moose on this near side. Throws it into Clark. And into Adrian Kahn, skipper. And further left to Pozniak. Solito binds. And trying to get the flick on. Jefferson was trying to stay onside. Kahn again, the long ball, looking for the run of Sabrango. Eddie Sabrango, the Whitecaps' top scorer this season. He has 4, and will be keen to add to that tally this evening. Roberto Brown for the Montreal Impact. Robbed of the ball, and nothing wrong with the challenge. Won the ball cleanly. Well, we have a stoppage here for Martin Nash. By the looks of it's gone down. Just toe-to-toe, I guess, and Nash appeared to come off worst.
Yeah, those can be painful now and again. Marty Nash is not a player that Vancouver will want to lose early on in the game. He's very key for them and what they're trying to do here.
Jeff Clark, back after a month out. Clark, as a central defensive berth for the Whitecaps, has been troubled by thigh and calf problems, but back in harness this evening alongside Adrian Kahn. There he is again. Martin. Nash looking for Kendall. They gave away possession cheaply. Testo.
Nothing malicious in this. Just a little bit late from Patrick Leduc. Stepped on the foot there. Played very well in the first game for this this competition up in Montreal. Filled in as a center back.
Moose looking for Sabrango inside the penalty area. Just shepherded away. The Impact take no chances. Safety first defending. Nash for the flick on.
Just
gesturing that Martin didn't make it too easy for him.
Just saying there, Nigel, Patrick Leduc came in as a stand-in center half up in Montreal when they played the first game of this competition and lost to Toronto 1-0, but was probably their best player and demonstrated his versatility.
Taylor Tordadsson, the Icelandic coach, in charge of the Vancouver Whitecaps. He's coached in many parts of Northern Europe, but this is his first foray into North America.
One thing about Tordadsson that you may note is that he wants his team to play a very direct style of football. He wants them to get the ball forward as quick as possible, which is a contrast to Montreal. John Liniadis has always been known as a ball-playing midfielder, and later on as a comfortable defender on the ball as a sweeper with Montreal, and he'll want Montreal to pass the ball, get it down, keep it on the deck.
There's Roberto Brown here. And certainly Moose felt the challenge. Moose, though, up and forces the corner. So a lively start from the Whitecaps, who know that they really must force the pace in this game. So Martin Nash will deliver this. Left-footed. It's too high for Moose. Belted away by Testo. Further on from Placentino. Martin. Well. No score then. 13.5 minutes gone now. Then are you up for a challenge? I'm sure these players are. If you are up for a challenge, it is worth, I'm told, $100,000. That's not money to be sniffed at. $100,000 will go to the winning entry for the man or woman who creates the new Hockey Night in Canada theme song. Now you can go to cbcsports.ca to enter Canada's Hockey Song Challenge. You've got till August the 31st. So if, like me, you mess about at home and tinkle the ivories, it might be worth your while. You've got till August the 31st to come up with the new Hockey Night in Canada theme tune. Meanwhile, it's the Neutralites Canadian Championship from sun-kissed Swangard Stadium in Burnaby, BC. As we approach the quarter hour, there is no score between Vancouver in white and Montreal in black. Martin might get a second chance, but Gaddy takes it away from him. Attentive defending. Jefferson and Clark battling for possession. Referee waves play on. So Gaddy finds Di Lorenzo, who returns the favour. That's neat and tidy. Not much room to manoeuvre. Belted forward by Martin. Solely away, but it'll be a free kick to the Whitecaps. Braz trots back.
I think the one thing the Montreal players will notice is that the size of this pitch here at Swangard Stadium is considerably smaller than what they're used to at Stade Saputo in Montreal. Makes it much more difficult to play that passing style they want to play here.
Nash to Hirano with the chip ahead. Jefferson helps it away. Placentino and Brown combining. Placentino gains some hard yards for his team. Will be a Montreal throw. Two sevens, Testo and Nash. Play by Clark. Pozniak. Turning is Leduc. And goes Adler in. But forward come the Whitecaps. He's round him this time. This is Hirano. He's got one to aim for in the middle. Almost found a way through, all the way through, but not quite, to Justin Moose. So Jefferson picks it up for Montreal. Braz strokes it back to Jordan. Jordan very much the first choice for Montreal. He's played 11 of their 12 USL games this season. Very experienced. Had 4 years with Dallas. Meanwhile, at the other end, here's Jay Nolly, his opposite number. Powerful header. Down goes Di Lorenzo.
It hasn't been an especially nasty game, but a lot of niggly little fouls being called. I think the players realize just what this means to both of them if they have any hopes of winning this competition.
The Duke, and then Brown with the flick ahead. And Jefferson penalised for the foul on Clark.
This is where it's important for the referee to manage the game. You know, there's a lot of little niggly fouls. There's nothing very malicious about it. There's no intent there, but he's got to keep a hold of the players and make sure he doesn't start sending out yellow cards too early.
Over the head of Braz. Needed a little help from Pizzolito. Adlery got a bump on the head for his trouble. But no more than the throw-in for the Whitecaps. Nash will take when the referee's sorted out a bit of pushing and shoving in the penalty area. Verano, Nash again. Left-footed cross, it's over the head. Here comes Roberto Brown. Jefferson's ahead of him. This is Jefferson, tracked by Martin. Lorenzo. Jefferson again. Di Lorenzo. They keep hold of the ball. Effective clearance that time from Khan. Back to Di Lorenzo and Khan once more. It's a little too much for Sabrango. And Leduc. He finds Pozniak. And the Whitecaps skipper pumps it forward again, looking for Sabrango. This time he does control it, but Braz is in quickly. And Adam Braz is in a little trouble down there.
I think that's down more to the awkwardness of the challenge than anything. Adam Braz clearly favored to win it. Sabrango tries to get in there, but that's a sore one for Adam Braz. He's twisting as he falls there. He easily put his back out doing that.
He's going to need some attention. There will be a stoppage, as you can see.
The referee's just having a quiet word with Eddie Sabrango here, which is good refereeing in my opinion. I've always believed that the best referees are the ones that manage the game, manage the players, and talk to them. You always try and, as a skipper, you always try and develop a rapport with the referee early on in the game and talk to him and try and get that feedback going between the two of you. I find it tends to save you some aggravation later on in the game.
Well, let us remind you that this is just one of a number of games we're covering for you. Delighted to bring you live in the Nutrilite Canadian Championship Series. And we will be at BMO Field on Canada Day, July the 1st, for Toronto FC against the Whitecaps, 4 p.m. Eastern. There is a change to that kickoff time, 4 p.m. Eastern. And I understand there are still tickets available if you want to be part of the experience on the day. Steve Kindle finds Justin Moose. Now on the run is Adlery. First time ball behind Sabrango. Found Hirano, but he couldn't keep it down. Taka Hirano, 33 years of age, from Japan. As we approach the midway point of this first half at Swangard Stadium. No score, and no real chances at either end just yet, but here's Jefferson. Brown on the charge, it took a deflection. It will be a goal kick. Roberto Brown scored at the weekend during Montreal's 3-0 victory over the Carolina Railhawks. Indeed, since Nick Limniatis took over as head coach, well, it's an easy job, isn't it? He's been in charge for 3 games. His team has won all 3. They have yet to concede a goal. Justin Moose is underneath this one. If he can keep it in, he does so. Martin is helping him out. And wins the throw. Gatti. Some help. It will be a free kick to the Whitecaps for the challenge.
This isn't a foul in my book. Pasoli comes through and wins the ball cleanly. You can always tell in a situation like this because you watch his eyes. You look at, he's watching the ball, yet he comes in clean header. It's not a foul for me.
But it is for the referee, and the Whitecaps have an opportunity here, which Justin Moose takes with the outside of the boot. Effective header. Pumped back in again. It's over the head of Moose. Brown helping out in defence, as was Di Lorenzo. Martin picks it up for the Whitecaps. Should be Adam Braz's ball. And he lets it run away for a throw. This time the throw is for the home team. Kindle, Hirano, Sabrango turning, Adlery looking for some room, couldn't find it. Just for a moment, it threatened to open up for either himself or Eddie Sabrango.
It's a clever little dummy by Eddie Sabrango there. He's faked like he's going to take it left and just dummied it and left it for Adlery. Unfortunately, the return pass wasn't there. Just a nice little dummy. Good strength from Adlery as well. I thought he should have shot there, to be honest.
He was just being put off a little by Dave Testo. Goal kick is the result. Pozniak wins the header. Pasoli has Gatti, but gives it away to Moose, who's upended by Testo. And it's yet another free kick. And the free kick toll is mounting in this first half. Moose chipping it forward, that's too easy for the goalkeeper. It's been very much stop-start for these opening 25 minutes. Neither goalkeeper seriously tested yet. The game really hasn't settled down. Brown was trying to get there, Jefferson, and then Martin. Khan left-footed away, finds Moose. In quickly Di Lorenzo. Strong in the challenge, still Di Lorenzo. He'll go all the way through to Pacentino. Keeps it in, with his first touch being surer. Might have been a real opportunity, it might still be. Almost a comedy of errors there.
It's a very important touch that from Jay Nolly. And good defending as well. You always, as a defender, you always like to see your midfielders tracking back.
Good work by Moose as well, because it fell to Jefferson, and before he had a chance to pull the trigger, the chance had gone.
Well, Nolly was off his line, and if Moose hadn't got back there, it's an opportunity, obviously, for a goal early on in the game.
Simon Gatti looking to turn. Forced backwards. Di Lorenzo had to be quick. And Pasoli. Pete Solito. Martin, an ever-present at right back for the Whitecaps this season. Target was Adlery, but Gatti cut it off. Adlery again. But away comes Testo for the impact. Ran into Adrian Khan. who then gave it away to Gatti. Finds Jefferson. Placentino's on that far side, playing as a right-sided midfielder, even though Placentino is very much a left-footed player. Handball. Well, there was handball there. Khan. And another free kick to Montreal. It's pretty central. They had one opportunity some 15 minutes ago. On that occasion, Brown blasted it straight into the wall on not one but two occasions. He's not there this time. Placentino is, and Pat Leduc is as well. Maybe it'll be Placentino with his left foot this time. Placentino got a deflection, and it is a corner. Came off, well, I say it got a deflection, it got some deflections on the way through. But the last one was a Whitecap defender. Could have gone anywhere, in truth, that one.
Yeah, it's a goalkeeper's nightmare, that one. It takes a deflection because it could go anywhere. And more often than not, we see it fly into the back of the net.
So a corner to Montreal. It's deep. We keep the move going. Testo. It's in. It's the opening goal. And it's Roberto Brown who's taken advantage. Nolly couldn't hold on. And Roberto Brown had the simplest task of knocking it into the empty net. And it is the Montreal Impact who have first blood, and they lead the Whitecaps by 1-0.
It's a good strike from David Testo. He keeps his head over it, hits it low on target, and forces Nolly to make a save. A good save by Nolly to get down, but he can only parry it right in front of the 6-yard box, and that's exactly what you're looking for from Roberto Brown. On the spot, first one to react, back of the net.
Roberto Brown, as I mentioned a little earlier, scored at the weekend. So he's scored in successive games now, and that is his third goal of the season.
Vancouver will be disappointed to concede a goal like that because it's from a scramble. You always tell your players when you're marking from corners is once the ball comes in, regardless of where it goes, mark your man. Don't just wander away, don't wander up the field. Find where your man is, get a hand on him so you know where he is. Because if the ball comes back, you've got to be in a position to react quicker than he does. And that's not what happened there. Brown was left all alone inside the 6-yard box, and there's only one result, and it's a ball in the back of the net.
But of course, it is not the start or the scoreline that Vancouver hope to see, or their fans for that matter, after half an hour of this contest. Of course, bearing in mind they lost the reverse fixture a week ago in Montreal by 2-0. Now they are committed to chase the game. Of that there is no question. Testo again, who had that original shot, which Nolly couldn't hold, could only parry into the path of Roberto Brown. Referee's whistle. It will be a Vancouver free kick. Now there's some pushing and shoving. Jefferson is involved, and many others. Referee's quickly in to break up the scuffle.
Well, the fans here at Swangard Stadium weren't happy that this was called back, but it was actually a good decision because there was no advantage there. You know, the Montreal player intercepted the pass, so the advantage for Vancouver had stopped. Rightly called by the referee, called the foul again, and gave Vancouver the free kick that they deserved.
Well, Nash, and now there's going to be a booking for Di Lorenzo for not retreating the 10 yards. Nash was trying to get on with it. Di Lorenzo was standing a yard in front of him. So the first booking of the game to Leo Di Lorenzo for not retreating. And frankly, it's a senseless yellow card. He's now got to be a little careful. Nash takes the free kick. Looking for Moose. Di Lorenzo's up quickly again. then goes to ground under the challenge of Moose. He wins a free kick for the visitors. Justin Moose, formerly of DC United in Major League Soccer.
This is something that really frustrates me. It's always frustrated me as a player. Watching a guy going down like he's been shot, and then 2 seconds later jumping up again as if nothing's wrong with him.
Fasoli bangs it upfield, looking for Roberto Brown. Challenged by Jeff Clark. Di Lorenzo, fully recovered, finds Brown. Kindle, Adlery. Every ball being hotly contested. Here's the skipper. Khan. Pozniak. Adlery was making the run, but there was a covering defender.
Some good football from Vancouver there. You know, showing Montreal they're not the only ones that can keep the ball on the deck and pass it around nicely.
Good turn from Sabrango. Falls over in the box, but no protests. And now possibilities again with Jefferson and Brown. And Testo on this near side. This is David Testo. In quickly and importantly was Martin. And Nash gets the ball rolling in the opposite direction with Hirano on that far side. Faced by Braz. Getting around him, and did. The cross just drifts behind for a goal kick. So Montreal lead it by a goal to nil now. Saturday at 5 Eastern, an inside look at the Canadian Olympic Gymnastics trials presented on CBC in quest for glory, the battle to make the grade and win a spot in Beijing. Saturday, June 28th, 5 Eastern. I'm sure it will be fascinating viewing. Here it is turning into a fascinating encounter because the men in white, Montreal, well, I'll come back to that in a moment because there could be a second goal here. It's over the top, but had that been a second goal, it might well have been curtains. But Di Lorenzo, Jefferson was the man furthest forward, managed to cut back, but couldn't keep it down.
He should have hit this first time, Jefferson, as the ball got flicked past the fullback. He's just got to take the ball out of his feet and hit it first time hard across the goalkeeper. Instead, he cuts back, chance gets wasted, and he plays it over the top. It's a good scoring opportunity for Montreal to miss.
Well, we did talk to Coach Torderson of Vancouver before the game, and even though they are currently the leaders of USL 1, they haven't scored that many goals, and we talked about the need to convert the chances that they're creating into goals, and perhaps the first 35 minutes we've seen here this evening are a testament to that.
Well, it's a problem for every team these days, is scoring goals at will. It's the reason Montreal made the coaching change, was that they were on a terrible run of form. They couldn't capitalize on any chances, and they felt that they needed to shake things up a little bit. They brought John Limniadis in, and all of a sudden the same team, the same players start scoring goals at will.
Nash, in fact, Testo, Di Lorenzo, now Brown. Placentino's got plenty of room if he can bring this down, and he does. Goes for goal first time, but it's comfortable enough for Nolly. So Lyle Martin will bring it away for Vancouver, who trail to Brown's 30th minute goal. Nash again, faced by Testo. Count to the left-hand side for Pozniak. Further left to Hirano. Adlery gives chase. Reburn. Now there might be another yellow card here. Testo was in severely on Martin, who certainly felt the challenge. And there is, I think, going to be another card here. The question is, what colour would it be?
I think it's going to be yellow, Nigel. It'd be quite harsh if Testo got a red for this.
It is yellow, you're absolutely right. So David Testo for that challenge on Martin joins Di Lorenzo in the referee's notebook.
These are sore ones, though. You know, Testo's gone in hard to win the ball, but Martin got there first.
I just wondered what colour it would be. I just wondered whether those studs were up and how the referee would see it. But,
well, yes, they were up a little bit, but you know, again, you have to look at his intent there as well. He's trying to win the ball. It's not, you know, he's not trying to injure Martin. And I think it's just more the fact that he was late with the challenge than there's any malice there.
Jefferson upended by Khan, who is the first Vancouver player into the referee's notebook. Jefferson, well, you can see that he certainly felt that challenge as well. So the Whitecaps skipper is cautioned.
It's good footwork here from Jefferson to get away, and Khan's just late, mistimes his tackle, ends up in the book, and now he's going to have to be careful as well. You know, as the fouls mount up in a game like this, you know, those early ones that were just little niggly fouls, all of a sudden everything starts to add up, and you stop getting the benefit of the doubt from the referee.
There is the Whitecap skipper, so he will have to be cautious for the remainder of the game. Adrian Khan, Canadian international, of course, very much part of Dale Mitchell's plans for World Cup qualifying. Jefferson, meanwhile, continues to receive attention. And all this means that there's going to be some minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. John Limniatis, he must be fairly satisfied with what he's seen. Once again, his team has scored and not conceded. Didn't get much better than that, I guess.
Easier is probably the wrong word there. For the most part, I think Vancouver have handled themselves fairly well. It's an important game for them. They obviously know they need to get a result here to get themselves back into this competition. But again, it's a question of capitalizing on your opportunities and taking advantage of when you have possession and when you're in the ascendancy.
Montreal temporarily down to 10. As Nolly collects at the second attempt, Jefferson, just out of your picture, is still receiving some attention on the far touchline. But the indications are that he will rejoin the game momentarily. Meanwhile, Martin Nash finds Jeff Clark. Moose with the ball over the top. Nash again, couldn't get there, but Clark is. Nadlery back to goal. Referee lets it go. And Leduc accurately finds Brown. Gatti on this near side. Jefferson still trying to get back on the field. They are still down to 10 men temporarily, Montreal. Now he does rejoin, after getting the nod from the referee. So we're back to 11 v 11. The only imbalance. Here's the scoreline. Berto Brown after 30 minutes, tapping, giving the Impact that all-important lead. Steve Kindle finds his captain Khan. Khan again. Well, that was a little weak. And now here comes Placentino. And Leduc. Impact would dearly love a second before half-time. Pizzolito. Clark met it. And Nash can get the ball going in the other direction. Irano. For Sabrango. It's too near the goalkeeper. And in all honesty, Matt Jordan has been not exactly a spectator, but he hasn't really had a save to make in this first half, has he?
No, he hasn't. You know, and again, it comes down to Vancouver executing their game plan. Taylor Torgerson told us before the game he wants his team to play a direct style of football, but he also wants them to use the flanks, to use the wide players to get the ball wide and get crosses in the box, and they just haven't done that. You know, he spoke to us about Hirano having one of the best left foots he's ever seen, but we haven't really seen him deliver any balls into dangerous areas just yet.
This is Hirano. Next to find Kindle, who's robbed of the ball. And once again, the black shirts of the Montreal Impact flow forward. Di Lorenzo looking for the run of Plascentino. Pozniak was able to tidy up. A little over a minute plus stoppage time at the end of this first half. We always say scoring either just before or just after half-time is important. Maybe Moose can make a difference. Finds Adlery, needs a decent cross to the back stick. Hirano, it's up, Kindle couldn't get it away. Scrambling defence, and the Impact survived. Jeff Clark try and keep it going. Martin, Moose, Nash, Kindle again. Here's Hirano. To get in behind the defenders. It run out. They kept it in. That's all they managed to do. Clark pumps it back in again. Adlery on the edge of the area. Kindle trying to shoot. Outnumbered by the black shirts. And a collision. And there'll be yet another stoppage.
Well, it's taken until virtually the stroke of halftime for Montreal to do, or sorry, Vancouver to do what head coach Torgerson wants them to do, which is get the ball in the box, be direct, and cause Montreal problems. And I'm sure that he'll be saying words to those effect at the halftime break when he gets the opportunity.
Stefano Pisoli was the man hurt in that clash with Kindle, but he's okay. As you can see, we will have 2-minute stoppage time at the end of this half. Jefferson, only as far as Martin, and Moose. Intricate skills from Justin Moose. Clark high in the air. Adlery won it for the Whitecaps. Kindle looking for the run. Sabrango. Adlery's got time here. He stood off him a little, but his control let him down. Martin again. Well, still Martin goes for goal. He was allowed to run and run. The shot in the end was disappointing.
Well, it would have been a wonder goal from Martin. Skipped through a number of challenges. It sat up perfectly for him and just couldn't quite get the connections. Come off the outside of his boot.
I think there was certainly more than a suggestion of handball in there, but he was allowed to run, couldn't finish. Finished like a defender, as they say.
What are you trying to say, Nigel?
We'll talk about that at half-time. Sabrango. Di Lorenzo. It's the last action of the first half. Referee Dominic Scully blows his whistle for half-time, and that is the home coach. And Taylor Torgerson is going to make a change right at the start of this second half, and it is the Ugandan-born Diaz Cambert, 22-year-old left back. Who was brought on at the start of this second half. Now, I watched him play at the weekend against Miami, and you watch what I watched. If you didn't see that game, this young man has pace to burn.
He could catch pigeons, as we used to say in England, Nigel.
In full flight. There he is. Diaz Cambert. So there has been a change round. Hirano, by the way, is still on the field, but looks like Chris Pozniak has given way at the start of this second half. Indeed, just confirmation of that substitution then. Pozniak off, Cambert on. At the start of the second period here, which Montreal leads by a goal to nil. That is certainly a situation that Vancouver will want to redress in this second half, reminding you that in the reverse fixture last week, Montreal won 2-0, so this is a game that Vancouver can ill afford to lose. Well, it's getting a little crowded up here. There's me and the big guy, and next to the big guy,
oh, big guy as well.
Well, you're not as big as him though.
Oh, definitely not.
Is of course the Whitecaps president, the man we featured at halftime, Bobby Lenarduzzi. Welcome.
Welcome to Vancouver.
Thank you so much. I was going to say the welcome should be the other way around,
yes,
shouldn't
there
it?
you go.
Now this, I guess, is a game you're not enjoying at the moment.
No, not necessarily. It was a pretty pedestrian first half. We didn't really create a lot of chances. I thought in the last 3 or 4 minutes that we started to show a little bit more of an attacking flair, but we're going to need to do much more in the second half. And Montreal are renowned for being a very good defensive side, and they're going to be difficult to break down, but we'll need to show them something a little different. We're a little static right now. We're running in channels, and we just need a little bit more movement.
We mentioned, Bob, that it took almost to the 44th minute before we saw a quality cross come in the box. That it was in a dangerous area. And is that something that you think the coach is going to ask the team to put more of in the second half?
Well, I know that we've had a very unnerving trait in the last 4 games. We've been down a goal in each of our home games, and we've responded in the second half by playing very well. So certainly one of the things that Taylor will be looking to do is making sure that we do get the kinds of crosses in we got there, maybe just keep them a little bit away from the keeper.
Well, Justin Moose did a very good job there, as he did in the first half, but once again Matt Jordan was solid in goal. And the coach has made the change at half-time, bringing on this young left-back who I saw play at the weekend, and he's very, very quick.
Yes, Diaz Cambert is a player that's come in and played with our Olympic team this past qualifying effort for the Olympics, and really seemed to grow in confidence having played with them, and is now in a situation where he's doing very well with the Whitecaps.
Here come the Whitecaps. In white, attacking the goal to your left in this second half. If you're just joining us, the ball ricocheting away off Hirano. Will be a throw to the visitors, but once again, Bob, it's good to see the crowd out in good numbers supporting this initial Neutral Night Canadian Championship.
Well, and it's interesting because there's a different mood in the building tonight. We've actually had more people at games, but I sensed that there was more of an anticipation about tonight's game because it is a one-off. It's not a one-off, it's part of a tournament, but you don't have games to make up for a bad performance, and it's much like a playoff game would be. And certainly I had more of an anxious feeling about this game, and quite frankly, these are the kinds of games that you look forward to playing in, and as fans you look forward to watching.
Well, I mean, it is Canadian bragging rights when it's brought down to its simplest form, isn't it?
No question, and right now we're not looking in a very good position to do that, so we need to correct that.
Montreal lead it by a goal to nil. Toronto FC will be here at this stadium on Wednesday, July the 9th. You can get tickets 604-280-4400. It's Wednesday, July the 9th.
And that's a game that certainly our fans are looking forward to. MLS are the best league in North America, so it's an opportunity for us to, regardless of what happens tonight, to show how we fare against MLS opposition.
These games have a real cup feeling about them, though, don't they? You know, I know as a player myself, having played in cup competitions, you always want to test yourself at the highest level, and certainly for the guys from Vancouver and Montreal, coming up against an MLS side in Toronto FC is something that they can aspire to, and I'm sure as an organization yourself as well, that you know, the opportunity to get Vancouver and Montreal in the MLS is one that would be of great benefit to Canadian soccer.
Absolutely, and I know you guys did the game in Montreal, and I thought Montreal were very, very unfortunate to lose that game. At the very least, they deserved a draw, and I thought they played very, very well. In fact, what's happening with Montreal right now, perhaps, I don't know if they're playing all that much better, but they're starting to get the breaks that they weren't getting early on.
Jefferson with possible break here. He headed back to the goalkeeper. Well, you know, Bobby, they built a stadium in Toronto, they built one in Montreal. People are asking, when are you going to build one in Vancouver?
Well, in actuality, we've been trying to build a stadium for 4 years now, and the other two have come along more recently and have had the success. So, you know, we still are anxious to get the stadium built. We're still in discussions with the Port Authority, and we're hopeful that we'll reach a positive conclusion.
Are you banging your head against a brick wall, or can you actually see some light at the end of the tunnel? That was Adlery, by the way, with the shot.
Adlery cuts in well, and he's actually been playing much better for us, and it's nice to see him having the confidence to shoot from that distance. But from a stadium perspective, one of the things that we do have now is we have a stadium certainty, and that we have a deal with BC Place, a renovated BC Place, one with an open roof with a much more intimate feel to it. So at least that gets us back in the game for MLS. Without a stadium certainty, we might have run out of opportunities in terms of MLS.
So in simple terms then, the Whitecaps will be tenants, I guess, of BC Place at some stage. Is that right?
Yes,
Am I understanding this correctly?
That's right. By 2011, what will happen is that the renovations will be complete, and we have actually agreed, are in the process of formalizing an agreement to move into BC Place and have it be a temporary home for us for MLS.
Morano with the ball across, wins the corner. Bobby, as ever, it's been a pleasure talking to you. We wish you every success with the stadium.
Wonderful to be here. Hopefully the result turns around before the 90 minutes is up.
Go and enjoy the game. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay.
Corner then for the Whitecaps. And they need to get back on terms, you would think, fairly quickly. In this second half, 7 minutes gone since the interval. Once again, Jordan was decisive and clean with his handling.
He's done everything you could ask of him today, Jordan, in goal. This is exactly what you want to see from a goalkeeper when a corner comes in as a defender. Coming in through the players, confident, strong, commanding.
Roberto Brown gets up, unlike his opposite number. And now there's some pushing and shoving. And the referee, Jeff Clark, by the way, is the other man who's gone down. But clearly some ill feeling between who was at fault there. And we don't want this to turn into an all-out brawl. But certainly tempers are flaring there. It was Brown and Clark, I believe, who originally came together.
Well, Brown uses his experience here, I'd like to call it. He has a little look over his shoulder and barges into the defender. Jeff Clark comes out for the worse for the wear there, I think. But you can see that, you know, the rivalry that these two teams have and how important it is for them to win any of these games. There are bragging rights at stake, that's no question.
It's a yellow card for Roberto Brown. He becomes, by my reckoning, the third Vancouver player into the notebook, and now there's going to be a substitution for Montreal, and it's Joey Jurtson who's going to take the place of Severino Jefferson. So Joey Jurtson, who scored in the reverse fixture last week, No doubt will hope to have a similar effect and kill off the Whitecaps for good. Sabrango goes for goal, hits the bar! And that's as close as the Whitecaps have come. Explosive shot, and Jordan for once was beaten all ends up. Well, that's got the home crowd going.
It's a fantastic move from Vancouver's part. Good ball up from Cambier and a great little header down from Nicholas Adlery. Wonderful strike here from Sabrango. Rattles the crossbar. Jordan couldn't have done anything about that.
Well, he might be 35 years old, but he still knows where the goal is. Terrific power on the shot from Sabrango. It just didn't come down quickly enough for the veteran striker. Testo with the ball ahead. And Brown couldn't control it. There he is, Eddie Sabrango. Top scorer this season with 4 goals, and he was the woodwork away from making it 5. Clark knocks it forward. Underneath the foot of Placentino. So Clark again. Had the option of Martin to his right. Decides to come left to the substitute Cambert. Sabrango again gives chase. Solito wins the throw for Montreal. Braz takes. It's Testo, who wins the free kick. Montreal, as you might imagine, in no desperate hurry to get on with it. The referee's just jogging over towards Matt Jordan and saying, come on, I can see exactly what your game is. All the way forward to Martin, who finds his goalkeeper. Unconvincing clearance. Testo again. As Vancouver continue to search for this equaliser. Braz found Jertson, but it wasn't an easy ball to deal with. Jertson again pokes it infield. Well, these keys to the game.
It hasn't really happened for the Whitecaps yet. Cup form, they haven't managed to transfer their league form into this competition yet. As we see a yellow card come out for Pat Leduc. And it's a must-win game for Vancouver. At the moment, it's not going their way.
Yeah, Leduc know that he was being skinned there and took down his opponent with no great ceremony. Paid the price with the yellow card. Hirano at the other end. Onside. It's come all the way through. Taxdor gone for the chip, and Jordan did extremely well. And it was Kindle with the chip. And the Whitecaps are getting closer.
This is a fantastic effort from Steve Kindle, and an equally fantastic save from Jordan in goal.
Corner is the result. Left-footed to the back post. Sabrango, I think, might have been penalised for the push on Jordan.
It's great vision from Steve Kindle on that play to spot the goalkeeper off his line a little bit. Most players would have just lashed that as hard as they could and hope it took a deflection and maybe found its way in the back of the net. Steve Kindle just tried to chip that one over the top and catch Matt Jordan unawares, but he was equal to the task.
Hirano up with the header. Testo for Montreal, and Brown. Substitute Jertson, charged down by Hirano. Confirmation of that yellow card. Really was a terrific save and great awareness, great athleticism.
That's a world-class save, really. Lovely effort from Steve Kindle. Just tries to chip it over the top. Matt Jordan had to backpedal, good feet, watched the ball the whole way and tipped it out.
And he had to know his angles, because arguably he could have punched it into his own net from where he was.
He could have done, definitely. It was a wonderful save. One he's going to look back on, and I'm sure put it on his highlight reel of saves he's made over his career.
Well, encouragement for Vancouver. They've hit the woodwork and they forced Matt Jordan into a couple of saves in this second half, which is something, frankly, they failed to do before the interval. Nash coming forward. And once again, forced to give away the corner. And Vancouver, perhaps it would be a stretch to say they are a transformed team in the second half, but they have certainly found another gear.
No, but they've lifted their game a bit, and this is where they need to find a goal. When they're on the up like this, they need to capitalize, and that'll see the shift in momentum in the game.
Good, strong punch from Jordan. And come all the way back to Martin. Cambert out to that right-hand side again. Kept in by Moose. The dark shirts crowd around him, but it is a Vancouver throw. Which Kindle will take. Flick on from Sabrango. Verano tried to get the volley straight into the arms of Jordan, and that was Kindle again.
Well, the chip didn't work last time, so he's gone for option 2, which is a straight, hard strike. And again, Matt Jordan sees it all the way. Good hands from Jordan. Difficult to hold on to a strike as powerful as that, but he watches it the whole way. Good goalkeeping.
I wonder whether Kindle hit it a bit too well, a yard either side, and Jordan might have been in trouble. Sabrango giving chase. Possibilities here. Sabrango's gone down. Referee's not interested in the penalty. It's come to Hirano. Black shirts scramble it away. It's gone out of play now. Sabrango certainly felt the challenge.
Well,
referee thought it was fair.
Whatever Tater Torgerson said at halftime, it's obviously had an effect on the Vancouver players. They've definitely lifted their game, and if there's anyone going to score a goal right now, it looks like it's going to be the Whitecaps.
The only problem is they haven't done it yet. Certainly worrying Montreal. His confidence and self-belief is growing. As Gatti upends Hirano.
As a player, when you're on the pitch and you're defending a 1-0 lead away from home, you can almost sense that shift in momentum. And Vancouver are on the up right now. This is where Montreal have to stay strong if they want to come away with a win here. Bit of a dive there from Hirano. Got away with it.
Has won the free kick, which Nash will take, right-footed, floated in. Didn't get past the first defender. Placentino bangs it away, but only as far as Martin on halfway. It's going to scoot all the way through, and temporary relief for the Montreal back line. We're hearing there may be another substitution on the way for Montreal. More on that as and when it happens. But I suppose John Limniatis, having seen the way the balance of this game is shifting, must be tempted to think, well, what we have we hold, and look more at a defensive formation for the remainder of the game.
Well, he's got the goal that he's always wanted. That's been lacking since prior to him taking over. They're in the lead. They haven't conceded. Things have gone fairly well for Montreal so far. Different direction. Obviously, coaching change that they made has worked. And history repeating so far, unless Vancouver can manage to capitalize on these chances, it's going to carry on in the same form it has been over the years and result in a Montreal victory. But I think John Limniadis will be pleased to be in the lead, but would probably like the comfort of another goal.
Reminder, our next game for Toronto FC is Saturday, July 19th from BMO Field as the San Jose expansion Earthquakes provide the opposition. TFC, 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific, so do join us for that. As the Impact have scored a second out of absolutely nothing, and having soaked up all the pressure. The strike, I think, from David Testo from well outside the area may have sealed the win for the Impact.
And it is most definitely against the run of play. Vancouver have dominated the early stages of the second half, but David Testo connects with a rocket into the bottom left-hand corner. I just wonder whether Nolly in the goal is unsighted a little bit here, whether he has to see through bodies, because he doesn't react to this too quickly. But it is an excellent strike from Testo.
And now another substitution for the visitors. Roberto Brown is coming off the field, having scored in the first half. He will be replaced by Gabe Gervais, who I think we saw as we approached the stadium, did we not? And he told us that he wouldn't be fit to play. More on that in a moment, but look at that strike. It was just curving away all the time from Testo. Nolly couldn't get there. And the silence momentarily was deafening here at Swangard Stadium, because the home crowd had seen the Whitecaps pressing and pressing and pressing and getting closer and closer. And just as they threaten that equaliser, they find themselves trailing, it has to be said, against the run of play now, by 2-0.
Well, it's exactly what John Limniadis was looking for, is that second goal, which gives you that added cushion. And then bringing Gabriel Gervais into the lineup gives you that extra strength at the back. He's come in at left fullback, pushed Gaddy into midfield, and just tightens things up for Montreal. Gives them a bit of a stronger base at the back to withstand the added pressure that Vancouver are bound to throw at them as they try and get themselves back into this game.
David Testo scoring against his former team. Had a hand in the first goal as well. Montreal, here he is again. As the Impact come looking for a third. Joey Jurtson volleys it back into the middle. Kindle got a head on it. Nash will tidy up. Cross ball looking for Hirano. Now Kindle. Sabrango's brought to ground by Pizzolito. And another free kick for Vancouver. Martin, who's got Moose outside him. It's comfortable enough. Placentino is just offside. Ball forward. Was the right intent from Testo.
I think this is onside, Nigel. We'll see on the replay. I think he holds his run, times it to perfection. That is a very, very tight call.
You can't see from that angle, in fairness. but it was actually level with our eye line up here in the booth, and I would agree with my colleague that it was tight at best. The linesman's flag, in fairness, was up pretty quickly. Cambert. Kindle. Hirano with the flick on. Volleyed away by Testo, who's everywhere at the moment, David Testo. Martin will stop that and win the throw. 20 minutes to go here at Swangard Stadium as dusk descends. Tonight's Canadian Championship Soccer live on CBC Sports. And Montreal Impact, who won the reverse fixture by a score of 2-0, are now winning here on Vancouver soil by that same margin. Roberto Brown and David Testo, the goal scorers, either side of the interval. He's fallen to Kindle, who had some excellent opportunities himself before that second Montreal goal arrived. Joey Jurtson, who's struggled to get into the game since coming on as a substitute. Free kick, the verdict.
It's very good defending from Jeff Clark. Ball's over his head and he watches it the whole way. Gets a good foot in there, he has to be certain of that. And then just uses his experience there, gets his body between the striker and the ball, drawing the foul.
Argentino was his adversary on that occasion. Adam Browse saying, give me the ball. I'd like to get on with it. Testo again was up well contesting that ball, and once again Testo, now Jurtson. Browse can chip it forward. Argentino now just playing as a lone striker by the looks of things.
Well, the game changes for Montreal now. They've got the two-goal cushion. They can afford to play with one man up front. And when they don't have the ball, they pretty much get 9 or even 10 men behind the ball as much as possible and just defend their lead. It becomes very difficult for Vancouver to break down. And as I said before, because Vancouver plays such a direct style, it plays into Montreal's hands. It's much easier to defend against the long ball as it is to defend against people that play short balls into feet and try and get in amongst you.
Testo. It's Montreal to get in behind again. Di Lorenzo. Couldn't keep it from crossing the byline. And a goal kick to the home team. Olive to Clark. Clark to Martin. Now to the captain. Can he inspire his team? Cambert, who we haven't really seen run in this second half. And now there will be a double substitution very soon. Jason Jordan is being warmed up down below us, striker, as is, no, it's in fact Alfredo Valenti, I beg his pardon. Yes, Jason Jordan, I was right the first time, is indeed being warmed up, as is Alfredo Valenti.
Hang on, guys.
The substitution will take place right now, so last throw of the dice. Confirmation of tonight's attendance. Clock quite capacity, but not far off. Capacity here these days around 5,200. So Jason Jordan on the field. And Alfredo Valente, 28-year-old. Former Edmonton driller, Alfredo Valente. Jason Jordan, who has 2 goals to his credit this season. So Taylor Torridson forced to try something different for this final 15 minutes or so, as the Whitecaps desperately need a goal. If they can find one, then it will set up a grandstand finish. And they have had their chances in this second half, no question about that. But they haven't been able to convert. Jordan organising his defences again. As Nash swings in another corner. Jordan punches again. Clark to Valente, the substitute. Kindle will win the corner off Braz. As the Whitecaps look to keep on the pressure. Fans doing their best to urge on the home team. Nash has come all the way across the field to take the corner on this near side. Right-footed this time. The header down is just wide. Might have been Clark. It was, you know. Jeff Clark got the header in, headed it down. That's what they teach you to do, but just off target.
It's a very good ball in from Martin Nash. He's been known over the years to deliver very good free kicks and corners. And Jeff Clark will want that one back, I think. It's a free header. Does everything right, heads the ball down. Can't quite manage to find that bottom corner.
So Sabrango and Jordan. Jason Jordan, the 2 up top now for Vancouver, in a desperate search for at least 1 goal, which would give them some sort of hope over the closing minutes. Braz doing his best to deny them. Adrian Khan for Lyle Martin. Eager to get forward. Time the enemy for Vancouver. Nash looks to spread the play. It was in the direction of Valente, but it was too short. As forward comes Jertson for Montreal. The chip forward, but Argentino hadn't made the run. A little over 12 minutes remaining for Vancouver. They've got to get forward. It's easy again. It was on target, but I'm not sure whether it was a cross or a shot. Either way, Jordan made it look easy. From Eddie Sabrango. Clark again across quickly. It'll be the Montreal ball.
Well, we've spoken about Matt Jordan and how he's handled everything well today, and he had to be very careful there that he didn't drift over the goal line. It's fair to say I think he's kept them in it, really, Nigel. Certainly with the save he's made off Steve Kendall earlier on in the game.
He certainly played his part, but there is no doubt. Adrian Khan for Vancouver. Girano has dropped back to a left-back berth now since the introduction of Valente, who's inside the penalty area if they can get a ball in his direction. Once again, the black shirts of Montreal quickly clear. and win the throw. This has just got a little flat this last 2 or 3 minutes. Placentino rode one challenge. Di Lorenzo trying to get him going again. Placentino momentarily inside the area. It was a difficult ball to control, in fairness. Free kick to Vancouver. David Testo scored one. Had a hand in the other against his old team. Here's the other number 7, Martin Nash. Now Steve Kindle. Here's Hirano. Can he whip one in? Well, he's won a corner. He'll take that. And he might actually take the corner, although Nash is more likely to trot across and swing it in. There he is, Nash the younger. Deep to the far post. Clark got a touch on it. It'll come back to Nash again. Trying to make an angle for himself. Got 2 black shirts ahead of him. Still got the ball in. It'll fall to Khan. Thought about a shot himself. Camper has been robbed, and Placentino might be away here. Hirano battling with him. There has been a foul. Signalled by the assistant. And a shake of the head from the man alongside me.
It's a good ball here. A little bit surprised the refs called this, because I don't think Hirano was going to win that. He was always going down, and Placentino looked to capitalize.
Just a glimpse of the speed of Camper there. And he's won his team a corner. Which Valente will take this time from that far side. Another substitution coming up for Montreal. Placentino gingerly making his way. Just hobbling a bit, Rocco Placentino. Maybe he did feel that challenge. Got to come off. So he won't add to his 2-goal tally tonight. In his place, seated Tati Matondo, 23-year-old former Canadian under-20 international. Matondo is on for the impact. Valente, charge down. Camper. Gone past them all. Rolls away for a harmless goal kick. Sabrango says, there you are, I'll put the ball down for you, you just kick it. So of course Matt Jordan picks it up again.
Well, he's not in any hurry, Jordan, is he? He's taking his time, killing the game off, we call that.
Taking as much time as he can possibly take before he tests the referee's patience. Browse with the chip ahead. Substitute Tondo, looking to make an early impression. This is Jertson. Tondo first touch. Valente got there. It's going to be too strong from Sabrango, and he knows it. And a wasted opportunity for the Whitecaps. And they know the clock is ticking away. 6 minutes remaining. Plus whatever stoppage time the referee cares to add. Sabrango battling. Fallen to Kindle. But once again, Jordan out smartly. The Newtonite Canadian Championship continues on Canada Day at BMO Field. Toronto against Vancouver. 416-360, 46.25 is the number you need if you're interested in investing in some tickets for that. I understand there are tickets still available. BMO Field, 4 p.m. Canada Day. If you can't be there in person, we will be delighted if you could join us for the game live on CBC Sports. Braz with the throw. Gatti. And Jordan, who's been busy in the second half after being a virtual spectator for much of the first. Adrian Kahn really forced to go long now. There isn't time to play pretty soccer anymore for the Whitecaps. Martin looking for some support. He wants to throw it forward. Once again, the impact safe and secure at the back. And really now it's just about managing this game, these final few minutes. And making sure they don't make any silly mistakes or invite any unnecessary pressure. Braz launches it long.
Sometimes there's nothing wrong with that either at this stage of the game. 5 minutes to go, 2-0 lead. You just want to prevent the other team from scoring. Montreal just trying to keep it tight at the back.
Sabrango, once again, too many black shirts around him, and then it ricocheted off Sabrango away. So it will be another Montreal ball. Limniatis will be highly satisfied with this result. And it will be a result that takes the Montreal Impact to the top of this mini qualifying table offside. With 2 wins from their 3 games.
Well, as Gabe Gervais clears this, as soon as that ball comes off the Vancouver player, he's deemed to be the last person to touch it. And then the Vancouver striker, Jason Jordan, I believe it was there, is in an offside position.
A little over 2 minutes remaining at Swangard Stadium. Jertson tracked by Herano. And was calm as the ball came across. Salido with an important header. Nash with the flick on to Martin. As 1 or 2 spectators begin to drift away into the BC night. It's a beautiful, warm evening here, but there will not be a warm and fuzzy feeling, I fancy, in the home dressing room after this. Testo. And at the heart of much of what Montreal have done well, David Testo against his old team.
It's always nice to put in a solid performance against one of your former employers, isn't it?
Jertson's got a little bit of room on this near side. Well forward there was Gatti. On the turn was Sabrango, but only turned into another black shirt. I think we need to credit Montreal. They've worked very hard this evening. Here's Kindle, Clark, and Martin again inside the last 30 seconds of the 90. The result surely now not in doubt. Just got one eye on the fourth official down below me. See how many added minutes we'll have. And here comes the board. We're going to have 3 extra minutes. The end of this contest.
A minimum of 3 minutes extra time.
Jay Nolly, goal for Vancouver. Just needs to get it forward quickly. Decides to play possession football through Martin, who then gives it away. Matondo. Onside, Di Lorenzo. Thought about going for goal. Tries to cut back inside. Maybe just keeping the ball is his best option. So we drift through stoppage time. Just play with the ball down in that far corner. While the black shirts have the ball, the Whitecaps can't hurt them. Gatti forced to go backwards. Braz on this near side. Matondo had no one to flick it onto. Got a second chance. Shot took a deflection. And it will be a corner. Suddenly nobody's terribly interested in getting on with it too quickly. All right, 90 seconds remaining. Joey Jurtson, Matondo down in the quadrant. Jurtson, nice turn from the substitute, and he's tripped by Nash. That'll be another free kick to Montreal.
You do have to give credit to Montreal today. They came here with a difficult task, playing against the foreign team in the USL at home, and they came away with a very comfortable victory in the end.
They have, and as we mentioned at the top of the show, history is repeating itself once again. The Montreal Impact really do have the Indian sign over the Vancouver Whitecaps, and have had so for some years. This will do nothing to alter the all-time statistics in recent years, in the modern era, if you like. It will be another Montreal win. Nash funneling out of defence. Martin on the charge, but surely it's a futile charge now for Vancouver. All into the area once again. Pixelito up well to repel the white shirts, and it's the last time they'll have to repel the white shirts, because referee Dominic Scali blows his whistle for the final time this evening.